When everything around you feels uncertain, the difference between financial success and disaster often comes down to one thing: your ability to stay rational. Pressure exposes the quality of your decisions. It reveals whether your choices are guided by principles or driven by panic. In every financial crisis, from recessions to market crashes, most people react emotionally. They rush to sell, they freeze, or they take desperate risks. They think they're protecting themselves, but in truth, they're surrendering control. Rational financial thinking is not about being emotionless. It's about managing emotion with understanding. It's the skill of balancing logic and patience when fear is loud. Consider an example. A young analyst in Chicago has been investing steadily for years. Then one morning, news breaks that the market is falling fast. Everyone around him begins selling. His phone fills with messages telling him to get out immediately. He feels the same fear, but instead of reacting, he opens his investment plan. His goals are long-term, his portfolio is diversified, and his investments are in companies with solid foundations. Prices may fall, but value doesn't vanish overnight. He stays calm and does nothing. Months later, while others regret selling in panic, his patience rewards him. His investments recover and grow stronger. That is the power of rational decision-making under pressure. You need three essential abilities: clarity, control, and conscience. Clarity means knowing exactly why you're making a decision. Most people make financial moves based on what others are doing. They follow headlines or emotions instead of purpose. Clarity gives direction, saving for education, or building long-term stability. Then temporary losses or noise won't confuse you. Clarity also means knowing your numbers. Track your income, expenses, and savings. Write them down honestly. When your financial position is visible, fear loses its strength. Uncertainty creates panic. Clarity creates peace. The second element is control. Control doesn't mean you can predict markets or global events. It means you can regulate your reactions to them. The human brain is designed to seek safety, so when we see losses, our instinct tells us to run. But reacting instantly often creates more damage than the event itself. A rational investor learns to separate impulse from intention. One helpful method is to delay every major financial move. If you ever feel the urge to sell or buy quickly, give yourself 48 hours before acting. During that time, write down your reasons. Are they based on data or emotion? Are you reacting to fear or following your plan? If your logic remains consistent after today's, proceed confidently. Most emotional decisions fade before that period ends. Another part of control is preparation. Financial pressure becomes unbearable when you have no safety net. Building an emergency fund, at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses, gives you breathing space during crises when survival isn't threatened. You can think clearly and make rational choices. But even with clarity and control, one thing must always guide your decisions: conscience. Conscience in finance means ensuring that every action aligns with ethics and faith. True rationality never separates profit from principles. A decision can be clever in numbers yet foolish in morality. There's no wisdom in earning through interest, speculation, or industries that harm others. Real wealth must be pure, lawful, and beneficial. In the USA, ethical investing is gaining attention because investors realize that short-term profit without conscience leads to long-term loss, not just financially, but socially and spiritually. Companies that operate with transparency and fairness create value that lasts. Supporting such businesses through investment is both rational and responsible. Greed disguises itself as ambition, but its foundation is fear. Fear of missing out, fear of losing status, fear of falling behind. When you make financial decisions out of greed, logic disappears. A person guided by conscience knows when enough is enough. Now, imagine another scenario. A business owner faces sudden losses due to supply chain issues. The pressure is intense. He could take unethical shortcuts, like reducing product quality or delaying payments to employees. Instead, he chooses integrity. He negotiates honestly with suppliers, reduces his own salary, and protects his team. Months later, when stability returns, his reputation becomes his strongest asset. Clients trust him more than ever. That's rational decision-making grounded in values. The most reliable financial thinkers in history all share this mindset. They don't chase emotion. They focus on fundamentals: value, productivity, patience, and ethics. They understand that markets move in cycles. but principles are constant. To strengthen rational decision-making, practice reflection. After every financial action, review it. Ask yourself what influenced your choice. Was it logic or pressure? This habit trains your mind to identify emotional triggers early. Learning about behavioral finance can also help. It teaches how bias, fear, and overconfidence distort judgment. When you recognize these patterns, you can rise above them. Another important habit is maintaining a written financial philosophy. A few clear sentences can protect you from emotional mistakes. For example, I will invest only in businesses I understand. I will not risk my family's peace for temporary gain. I will never borrow for consumption. Remember, making rational financial decisions doesn't mean avoiding risk entirely. It means understanding which risks are worth taking. There's a difference between calculated risk and reckless gambling. A rational investor accepts uncertainty but never abandons principles. In moments of high tension, remind yourself, emotions are temporary, but consequences last. A single impulsive choice can undo years of effort. Rational thinking is your shield against regret. Finally, understand that rational decision-making is not a skill you learn once. It's a lifelong discipline. Markets change, economies evolve, and personal circumstances shift. Each new challenge will test your balance between reason and emotion. To stay consistent, surround yourself with wise mentors and ethical advisors. Avoid echo chambers of fear or hype. The more grounded your environment, the stronger your decisions. Financial pressure is inevitable, but panic is optional. Every challenge is an opportunity to practice discipline, to prove that your values hold stronger than your emotions. Your wealth grows best when your mind is calm, your purpose is clear, and your income is pure. Rational financial decision-making is not just about numbers. It's about building a life where money serves you, not the other way around. When you think clearly under pressure, you protect not only your assets, but also your integrity. Because in the end, rationality is wealth, and peace of mind is the highest profit you can earn. Such rules become anchors when pressure tries to pull you away. Financial education also plays a major role. The more you learn about how money works, inflation, asset classes, budgeting, and value creation, the more confident and rational you become. Knowledge replaces fear with perspective. Rational financial thinking doesn't start in moments of crisis. It begins long before the crisis arrives. Pressure reveals your habits. It doesn't create them. The person who remains calm when everyone else panics has trained their calmness over years. The truth is, you can't rely on willpower when stress hits. You need systems that protect you from yourself. The most successful investors and business owners in America don't just depend on emotion control. They design their environments to make rationality easier. Think about this principle. Discipline is stronger than desire. When you structure your financial life with clear rules, you no longer need to decide from scratch each time the pressure comes. The rule decides for you. For example, you might commit that every month, a fixed percentage of your income automatically moves into savings or investment. That automation removes emotion. You don't have to think about whether the market feels safe or not. The process continues consistently. Automation protects you from panic. It's like setting up a guardrail on a mountain road. You still drive carefully, but if you slip, you won't fall off completely. Another powerful system is diversification. Rational financial decisions are not about guessing which asset will perform best, but about spreading risk wisely. A balanced portfolio across productive assets, such as real businesses, ethical stocks, or real estate, provides protection when one sector struggles. Diversification doesn't eliminate loss, but it softens the blow. It allows your mind to stay rational because no single event destroys your entire plan. In times of pressure, diversification buys clarity. But diversification without understanding is dangerous. That's why every rational investor studies the basics of each asset they hold. They don't invest in something just because others are doing it. Knowledge is your first line of defense. Now let's talk about mental framing. How your perception changes your decisions. Imagine two people face the same event. The market falls by 10%. One sees it as disaster, the other sees it as a sale. Both are technically right, but their framing changes everything. The first reacts emotionally, selling in fear. The second acts rationally, reviewing long-term value. The difference isn't intelligence, it's perspective. Training yourself to see opportunity instead of catastrophe requires patience and education. You build it by constantly asking, what's actually changing here? When prices fall, has the value truly changed? Or is it just sentiment? When news spreads panic, what are the facts behind it? Rational people question assumptions. They dig beneath emotion to find reality. In the United States, financial culture often glorifies fast success, instant profits, viral opportunities, overnight wealth. But rational decision-making is quiet, patient, and strategic. It's not about predicting tomorrow. It's about preparing for the next decade. One of the most valuable tools for rational thinking is financial journaling. Whenever you make a big decision, buying property, investing, starting a business, write down your reasoning, expectations, and feelings at that time. Months later, review it. Did things unfold as you imagined? Were your fears justified? Were your hopes realistic? This reflection teaches you your own psychology. It's how professionals in behavioral finance train themselves to stay objective. The next principle is reducing noise. Information is powerful, but too much information creates confusion. During volatile times, financial media amplifies fear because fear captures attention. If you consume endless news, you start thinking the world is collapsing daily. Rational investors filter their inputs. They follow reliable data, not emotional commentary. Set boundaries for news consumption. Choose specific times of the week to update yourself. The rest of the time, focus on execution. You can't make sound decisions if your mind is flooded with panic. Also, beware of social comparison when pressure rises. You'll notice people around you boasting about gains or complaining about losses. Comparison steals clarity. Every person's financial journey is unique. Rationality means aligning your choices with your own goals, not copying someone else's path. Next comes emotional awareness. Many people believe that rationality means ignoring emotion. That's not true. Rationality means understanding emotion and guiding it. You can't remove fear or excitement. They're part of being human. But you can name them, observe them, and prevent them from controlling you. For example, when markets fall, you might feel anxiety. Instead of denying it, acknowledge it. Write down what you're afraid of. Usually, you'll realize your fear is not about the market itself, but about losing security. Once you identify the real cause, logic can work again. Another aspect of rational financial behavior is long-term consistency. In the USA, data shows that investors who stay invested through downturns often outperform those who jump in and out. Rationality doesn't mean avoiding losses. It means avoiding unnecessary mistakes. Timing the market matters more than timing the market. That patience extends beyond investing. When building a business, rational entrepreneurs reinvest profits, improve quality, and strengthen customer trust before expanding aggressively. They know that strong roots are more valuable than fast growth. Now let's address a crucial topic: decision fatigue. Every choice you make consumes mental energy. When you face multiple stressful decisions daily, work, family, finances, your brain tires, and rationality fades. To protect your judgment, simplify your financial environment. Automate bills, use clear budgets, and create habits that reduce small decisions. Save your energy for major choices that truly matter. Another technique is practicing scenario planning. Before pressure hits, imagine possible challenges, a job loss, medical expense, or market decline, and plan your responses in advance. Write down exactly what you'll do if those scenarios happen. This turns unknown pressure into prepared response. When reality arrives, you follow a plan instead of panic. Let's also talk about values-based investing. Rational decision-making doesn't chase the highest profit, but the cleanest purpose. Halo wealth grows from industries that add value, not from speculation. Invest in companies that produce real products, support communities, and avoid harmful practices. Ethical finance creates both peace of mind and long-term stability. Many people underestimate how spiritual calmness strengthens financial rationality. When your heart is content, you make better decisions. You don't chase every opportunity because you understand that provision is written, and effort must remain honest. Faith protects the mind from panic, just as discipline protects wealth from loss. The next element is learning to wait. Patience is not weakness, it's strategic restraint. The greatest opportunities in finance often appear boring at first. Slow, steady, compounding over years. Rational investors appreciate the power of time. They know that growth built on consistency lasts longer than growth built on emotion. Compounding is one of the most rational concepts in finance. A modest, consistent investment can multiply over decades through reinvested returns. The earlier you begin, the more power time gives you. Patience turns ordinary discipline into extraordinary results in high-pressure environments. Remember that money amplifies who you are. If you're calm, money becomes a tool for progress. If you're fearful, it becomes fuel for anxiety. Rational decision-making starts inside, not outside. To stay rational, protect your environment from manipulation. Advertisements, online opinions, and social trends often create false urgency. Every headline says act now. Rational people pause internally, not to delay success, but to ensure clarity. A practical method is creating a personal decision checklist. Before any major financial move, ask 1. Do I understand how this works? 2. Is this within my risk tolerance? 3. Does this align with my values? 4. Can I explain this to someone who trusts me? If any answer is uncertain, step back. Rationality thrives in transparency. Another vital aspect is emergency mindset training. When pressure arrives, your physical state affects your mental clarity. Simple habits like adequate sleep, moderate exercise, and calm breathing reduce impulsive behavior. Financial discipline and personal well-being are linked. A tired or stressed person rarely makes rational decisions. Rational thinkers also maintain financial humility. They admit when they don't know. Arrogance leads to risk blindness. The belief that you race smarter than the market or immune to mistakes. Humility keeps you teachable, and teachability keeps you safe. In the USA's competitive economy, humility might seem counterintuitive, yet it's one of the strongest shields. Those who believe they can't fail usually do. Those who expect challenges prepare for them and survive. Long-term rationality also requires gratitude. When you appreciate what you already have, pressure loses its control. A grateful person doesn't chase reckless returns because they're not desperate for validation. Gratitude balances ambition with contentment. Lastly, understand that rational financial decision-making is not just a personal advantage. It's a social responsibility. When individuals act rationally, economies become stable. Families experience security. Communities grow stronger. But when emotion rules, when fear or greed dominates, societies face cycles of boom and collapse. Your calmness contributes to collective balance. By practicing reason under pressure, you inspire others to do the same. Children watch how parents handle money. Employees watch how leaders make choices. Every rational act becomes part of a larger example. So how do you maintain this mindset for life? Revisit your financial philosophy regularly. Review your long-term goals at least twice a year. Track progress, but don't obsess over fluctuations. Seek continuous education. Books, courses, mentors, all focused on ethical and practical finance. Keep your circle filled with people who value integrity more than appearance. In the end, rational decision-making under pressure is less about money and more about mastery of self. Your ability to think clearly when others panic defines your financial destiny. Wealth without wisdom fades. Wisdom with patience grows. Every choice carries two costs: the cost of doing and the cost of not doing. Rational thinking helps you recognize which one is heavier. It reminds you that sometimes the best financial decision is to wait, to observe, to learn. True strength in finance is not in reacting faster than others, but in thinking deeper than others. Because when the noise fades, the calm mind always sees the opportunity first.